it is a new month, and that means more games because they come out all the time now. On August 1st, live-action FMV interactive thriller The Gallery lets you tangle with a hostage situation and the shadier side of the art world across 2 timelines. That's on everything including mobile. On the 4th, Turbo Golf Racing copies Rocket League's homework but changes it up a bit so it's not so obviously copied. In this case, it looks less like car soccer and more like a cross between kart racing and golf. But you probably could have guessed that from the title. That's coming to all the Xboxes and also PC. On the 9th, there's 2 Point Campus from the folks behind the very silly management sim 2 Point Hospital. This time, it's about college, so probably the same amount of bodily fluids as the last game. That's on PC and all of the consoles. A day later, you can get lost in play, an adorable indie game about a brother and sister trying to find their way home from a land of whimsy and imagination and whatnot. This one definitely has some over the garden wall vibes. That's on PC and Switch. If you want to split the difference between dark and creepy and cute and indie, there's Cult of the Lamb on the 11th. You can play as an adorable sword-wielding lamb who, yes, is running a cult. And you can attract new followers and impress the ones you already have by going out and killing monsters. That's also basically on everything. On the 12th, the former PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man comes to PC. I think the official title is actually Marvel's Spider-Man, and like, no sh**, as opposed to what? Quiznos Spider-Man? Actually, I kind of want to see that now, and I'm pretty sure we'll see all sorts of weird mods coming out of this one. Keep in mind, this is the remastered PS5 Spider-Man complete with all the DLC, but Miles Morales will be sold as a separate game, supposedly coming later this fall. On the 16th, you can check out Blossom Tales 2, The Minotaur Prince on Switch and PC. The first one was an indie darling when it first came out in 2017, and the sequel looks like it's building on that, so if you're after some Zelda-like comfort food, this might be for you. Also on the 19th, Rollerdrome, finally roller skates and guns together at last. This is the same team that made the Ollie Ollie games, so they know a thing or two about launching off-ramps and doing sick stunts. Now, let's see if they can stick the landing with shooting. That's PS4, PS5, and PC. If you want a considerably slower paced game about shooting stuff, there's also Way of the Hunter, wherein you do not wear roller skates or do flips, but you can track all sorts of hoofed beasts by following a trail of their poop and blowing on some of those funny noisemakers. That's on next gen and PC, and honestly, all jokes aside, that is a good looking game. On the 18th, RPG Time: The Legend of Wright lets you go on a magical adventure in the margins of a notebook. I love the handmade aesthetic for this one, definitely has some Paper Mario and Little Big Planet arts and crafts energy. That's coming to Switch and PS4, and it's already on Xbox. It will also be available on PC in September. That same day, PC and the next-gen boxes get Timesia, which looks like Bloodborne by way of Devil May Cry, turning you loose in a medieval doctor mask to kick some ass in a plague-ridden kingdom. On August 19th, Madden NFL 23 kicks off fall AAA video game release season, bringing all of your favorite loud, big men with the little pants and the big shoulder pads and the scary hats out onto the field once more to run all hither and thither with that object that everyone calls a ball. But honestly, it's clearly 2 small pyramids safely zipped into an expensive leather bag. Protect those pyramids at all costs, you big beefy Adonises. We're counting on you. Anyways, that's on everything but the Switch. Another big noisy AAA game full of silly costumes drops a few days later on the 23rd, Saints Row. This is a fresh reboot for the series, which has certainly undergone quite a few changes in the 17 years since the first game was released. And honestly, in that time, everyone has seemingly developed their own idea of what a Saints Row game should be. At the absolute bare minimum, it's an open world game with a character creator that encourages you to blow a bunch of shit up. That too is on everything but the Switch. If you're still chasing that high of Hotline Miami, well, honestly, I don't blame you, but you should take a look at Midnight Fight Express. It goes the isometric low poly route rather than the top-down pixels, but seems to have the same frenetic take on action, complete with pounding electronic soundtrack from the composer of My Friend Pedro. That'll be available on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. If the thrill of race cars is too much excitement for you, but you still want to play a game that's race car adjacent, buckle up for F1 Manager 22 on the 25th. Actually, I guess you don't need to buckle up since you're not the one driving the race car. But you know what? It's time for someone else to burn rubber, baby, and then you can put in an order for more tires because your driver just ruined his. That's on the Xboxes, PlayStations, and personal computers. Still, on the 25th, if you want to experience hard sci-fi real robot anime that experiences the horrors of war, but in a way that makes it cute, well, great news. SD Gundam Battle Alliance offers an adorably disfigured kawaii take on Yoshiyuki Tomino's mecha epic and its various spin-offs in action RPG form, shaking up the existing canon for the sake of making a fun video game. That's on all the things. On the 26th, Pac-Man World Repack, which sounds like some sort of sleazy political fundraising organization, but it's actually a remake of Pac-Man World, wherein that yellow ball must gorge himself on brightly colored ghosts until he is sated, or until the power pellet wears off and he must face his own personal demons. This game is also out on all the things. Still, on the 26th, Soul Hackers 2 comes to everything but the Switch. This is the supernatural cyberpunk RPG that's part of the evil summoner corner of the Shin Megami Tensei series. So basically, it's like Persona's distant cousin who's seemingly more into G Fuel and EDM than single origin coffee and jazz fusion. On the 30th, Crypto is back to terrorize more livestock and innocent pedestrians in Destroy All Humans 2, Reprobed, remaking the now classic PS2 Xbox UFO sandbox game from the ground up. That's on PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. And finally, Tinykin is also out that day, a charming Pikmin-like that has a sort of Gravity Falls aesthetic and looks cute. That's available on basically everything. Now that you know all of the biggest games coming to consoles, PC, and wherever else you play games on, let us know what we missed, or tell us what you're excited to play. Either way, be sure to keep up to date on all of your gaming news by staying right here at IGN.